You know, we could be talking about Troy today. I was gonna make a response to Tessa's video talking about a mythological movie by watching Troy. I'd never seen it before. People seem to think it's okay. I'm very familiar with the Iliad. That would have made a great video. But that's not what I watched for this challenge. I watched this.
In ancient Rome, the emperor was the law, and the army his enforcer. But now, the rise of Cyclops is the fall of the Roman Empire.
This is Cyclops. It's a TV movie. It's terrible. I found this for $1 at a record store in Champaign, Illinois. It actually was a record store with a lot of good movies. I got a lot of foreign films there that I'd been looking for and couldn't find for reasonable prices. But I also saw this. If you watched last year's Mythology Month, then you know that I have feelings about Polyphemus. And seeing how he is a Cyclops, I figured I should pick up Cyclops. Oh, the mistakes we make. Cyclops is a film that's set in ancient Rome, and I could go on myriad rants about the inaccuracies of ancient Rome in this movie, but I'm not going to, because that would take a long time and would be boring. Plus, the challenge was to talk about mythology in particular, so that's why I'm going to try to stick to the movie's story and the mythology that it's pulling from. But don't worry, that doesn't mean there won't be rants.
Tiberius! Your tyranny is over!
First off, let's talk about the first scene in the movie, in which the Cyclops appears. Some Romans are walking through what I presume is the director's backyard, and they find some sheep, and they're like, oh, that's the Cyclops' sheep. We should steal it. And you know, you think they would have probably read this if they're educated people in Rome. And if you've read this, you know, you probably don't want to steal Cyclops' sheep. But they do, and of course the Cyclops appears.
It's a Cyclops!
This is my notes on that. It's just half a page of no. The Cyclops looks like a Cyclops, in the sense that it's a big, monstrous human with one eye, but it doesn't look good. I'm not expecting it to look good. This is a Roger Corman movie. Roger Corman is known as the king of trash, but you know what? I didn't actually think it would look this bad. Also, on the terribly photoshopped cover, you see this little dude down here, you see the Cyclops, he has a big mace. You think that he's gonna be a big old dude. He's not. He's just a really tall person. Like, his scale kind of changes depending on the scene, but in general, he's just kind of like, oh, that person's really tall. I bet it would be uncomfortable for that person to fly on airplanes. He's that level of tall. But sometimes he has super strength. Sometimes he doesn't, but sometimes he does. And so I guess that's what makes him monstrous. The point is, the next part of the movie is that Emperor Tiberius sends an entire legion of Roman troops, which this is a world where, you know, the entire population of Rome is dependent on budget, so an entire legion is like 15 dudes. Anyway, he sends this legion to fight the Cyclops. I'm like, why? 2 guys could take care of him. Now I'm going to stick to this opening scene with him and his sheep, because that's really when the Cyclops stops mattering. Like, most of the movie is about the head of this legion. I think his name was Marcus. I'll call him Dude Bro, because he's just a dude bro whose mouth hangs open a lot and, you know, fumbles his way through the plot. This gets an A+ on the accuracy of how much Cyclopes, value private property. And also, like, once again, this Cyclops, at least in this initial scene, it's not that bad. Like, you know, he's killing these dudes, and probably in some gruesome ways. But he is protecting his private property, which was a much bigger deal back in the day. I will always defend Polyphemus no matter what injustices there are, and even though this dude is not Polyphemus, I feel like he's being put in the same situation as him. Of course, in that situation, Polyphemus was a lot more interesting because he got to, talk to Odysseus, and there was interchange, and he wasn't just a big, growling, tall dude. Hashtag justice for Polly. Hashtag justice for Cy. Also, I'm calling the Cyclops Cy because I'm kind of mad that he doesn't have a name. There are more than one Cyclopses. Okay, so ancient Rome, Cyclops. They make the one good decision in this movie, and that is to put the Cyclops in a gladiatorial arena. This is also a really tiny gladiatorial arena, which I find very funny. Granted, the Colosseum wasn't built yet, and there are only like 50 people in Rome. But Cyclops has, for the most part, been about dude bro, just kind of going around. He ends up made a gladiator, and Cy continually breaking out of jail and eating people, I guess because he's hungry. Cy just kind of is Frankenstein. He says a couple words. I think he actually just says meat and free in this, but like dude bro kind of teaches him. It's kind of like this young Frankenstein type deal, except a lot less entertaining, and it doesn't make as much sense because Cyclopes are supposed to be intelligent, but not here. Cy is just a convenient plot murder yum machine. But anyway, so we get to the third act, and Cyclops and Dude Bro are going against each other. Then Cyclops is like, "You won't let me free." He doesn't say that because those are more lines than he gets in the movie, but it's basically he realizes Tiberius won't let him free and he starts a revolt, and then he gets killed. And it literally ends with, so he gets impaled through the eye, as you do. He falls to the ground. Now, Cyclops has started the rebellion here. He's helping Dude Bro and his pals out. This should be a good thing. They should be mourning Cyclops. Instead, one of them says, "Well, Cy's dead." And then Dude Bro goes, "Long live the Republic!" And it ends with them all chanting, "Long live the Republic!" Ignoring, of course, the fact that for a generation, essentially, most Romans did not live with a republic. And even before that, the Republic was very corrupt and essentially useless, and so, imperial rule was a much more desirable part. And also, Tiberius had not gotten to the part where he was gone full paranoia yet, so he probably still would have a little bit of good public sentiment. I said I wasn't going to talk about the Roman stuff. But, oh my word, I get that this is a monster movie and that you want to kill the monster, but you've self-actualized the monster. He's a good guy now. You don't have to kill him. Hashtag justice for Cy. He could have had a happy ending. Just let him return to his sheep, for gosh darn sake. So ultimately, what did we learn from the movie Cyclops? Nothing. Would I recommend it? No. Sadly, there's just not a lot of mythology in here for a movie that's entitled Cyclops. Besides its presence, there's really nothing there to deconstruct mythologically. It's not ironic enough to be enjoyable all the way through, and it's very repetitive in the middle when it's just Cyclops escaping and Dude Bro duding about. So in conclusion, don't watch this. Read Book 9 of the Odyssey and hashtag justice for Polly and hashtag justice for Cy. I'll see y'all tomorrow.